Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth and I'm back today to do a really quick video to chat about the energies of what's going on and yeah, to pull some cards and see what I get for everyone. Now this is for all signs. I decided to just do messages like I've been doing for the last couple of months. I do not know if I'm going to be doing my other regular horoscopes for all signs. People have been asking me. I don't know if I'm going to be bringing this back right now. It's too much energy and time to put into those, videos that I used to do, but hopefully, me pulling some cards and channeling some messages will be of help to those of you who are watching these videos. So, and if you would like to get a private reading, you can check out my website, oracledaphne.com. I'm going to put the link below for you guys, and hopefully, you reach out to me if you want to do, a private session. It's just one-on-one, obviously, and I can talk about specific things for you personally. So, and my prices is all on my website and my schedule also. So, and yeah, so I'm going to be using a couple decks. I may switch decks during the video. I am going to be reading from the Enchanted Map Oracle cards deck, which I've been doing the last couple of these videos, and I do like to read those in reverses, but I may or may not decide to read in reverses for those. We'll see. And yeah, thank you guys for all your love and support. I want to say that everybody's been really great, and people have been saying though that there is a long time between the time that I post these videos. It's kind of hit and miss, but I have done several of them and people still aren't really seeing me post them. So definitely click the bell if you want to receive messages, so that notifications so that you know when I'm posting. And yeah, definitely comment, below if you like this video. So, I am going to start off, I think, with the Enchanted Map deck. I am going to shuffle really quickly. And we'll see what we get here. Okay, so this is like really pertinent to what's going on in California. There were some fires in Malibu, and the thing about fire, and Jupiter obviously has moved into the sign of Sagittarius, it's very transformative. And the card that I pulled is Metamorphosis. And it's very, very much timely that I'm pulling this card and talking about this card. When I look at this card, though, there's other things that are at play here. So some of you are, as you can see, some of you are the butterfly, okay? Some of you are coming out of a time or out of a cycle of maybe no activity, or a certain phase of your life has come to an end and you're kind of emerging. Others, you're going into the cocoon or into like, a time where, it's starting basically a new cycle. That's what I want to say. Some of you, I'm getting a tingle on that. So for most of you that are watching, you're probably going into a new cycle. Some of you are coming out. Some of you are going into a new cycle. That's what I feel. And then others, okay, so there's the flamingos. The flamingos here are kissing. To me, this is a time of transformation in relationships. Okay, so those of you who, some of you may be starting a new relationship. Some of you are going to be meeting someone where it's going to be a connection. To me, there's a connection here. The metamorphosis part, the metamorphosis and change reminds me of the Death card. And the Death card has a lot of that Scorpio energy of transformation. And Jupiter just moved out of the sign of Scorpio, but I feel like there is a lot of Scorpio energy that's still remaining. We are in November, which is the sun is in Scorpio. So there's this very strong Scorpio energy that's kind of lingering from Jupiter, but also I feel like in general it's just there, and it's what we're dealing with. And I didn't mean to say this, we are going to be we are in what I call the gateway days. This is to me the most, like, from November 10th through about November 23rd. Those to me are gateway days. And there's a lot of stuff that comes and goes during those days, because the number 11 to me is a gate, okay? It's a door. The 2 ones are like the door. And it's 111 for November 10th, 1111 for November 11th, 1112 for November 12th. So just as you can see, and especially November 22nd is going to be the master numbers, so there's going to be a lot of things coming through on that day also. But essentially from about November 10th through November 23rd, there's a lot of stuff that comes into your life that may come into your life really quickly, and also things leaving your life really quickly. But going back to what I was saying about the Scorpio energy and transformation, usually the Scorpio transformation has to do with big life changes, a transformation of outward circumstances, but also inward. To me, Scorpio is a very deep sign, so there's a lot of inner work that's kind of going on and happening also. But major life changes, changing jobs, changing relationships, changing where you work, changing what you do for a living, maybe some of you starting your business, starting a new career, job opportunities coming in. Basically it's out with the old, in with the new kind of thing. But also it's a lot of, it can be all 3 things. For some of you, it's the trifecta of, you're going to be changing jobs, you're going to be moving, and you're going to be starting a new relationship. Some of you, it's a lot of inner work, a lot of inner transformation, and less outer stuff. But some of you, it could be like maybe you're switching jobs, but at the same time you've just completed a lot of like inner work where you've been working on yourself and your self-esteem and who you are in the world and what you think about life, and all that stuff is part of your transformation. The thing about the Scorpio energy, which it took me a really long time to get, was that I think, especially for me personally, I moved so much that what really needed to happen was like an inner change for me. And people don't necessarily know what that means. So when I say an inner change, it's how you think, it's what you're thinking about, it's how you feel, it's your emotional state, it's how you think of yourself, where you are in your head, all that stuff that you carry around, old baggage, your belief systems, all that stuff is, when you go through a lot of outer circumstantial changes, is really what needs to change. It's like the only way to really get your inner self to change sometimes is by an external change. And sometimes people obsess about the external changes. So it's like Libra, right? Obsesses about their relationship, trying to perfect it, trying to get it right. And the thing is that the thing that needs to change most of the time is the way they view relationships. It's what they want. It's that, I don't know, perspective. It's like that perspective. And a lot of times it's really the inner change that's gonna click things into place. So some of you, again, you maybe have 2 out of 3 changes happening. You may have like the job and the move happening. Some of you may have like a physical change too, because to me this is also physical when I say physical change. Some of you may be doing like tattoo stuff, hair stuff, body work stuff. Some of you may be going on like a new diet or like starting to work out. So to me this is like physical transformation as well as life like external transformational stuff. And when I see this, it means that it also means for a lot of you that change affects everyone, regardless of how much money we have And regardless of who we are in the world, it just does. And we can't stop change. Like, we can't stop progress. Like, so to me, it's like, I keep going back to the cycles thing. My guide wants me to talk more about the cycles. You know, there's a lot of cycles that we are not really paying attention to. So it's like the moon cycle, the sun cycle, our personal astrological like chart cycles with the planets. Sometimes it's relationship cycles. Sometimes it's like life cycles, I guess, too. Like in our lives, like where we were, let's say 10 years ago, or where we were 18 years ago, or where, because, you know, the nodes changed also, and the nodes haven't been, I think, in the same position for, I think, 18 years. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's like 18 years since they were last in Cancer, North Node, and South Node, Capricorn. So that also is a cycle. So there's a lot of, to me, it's like cycles within cycles. But mainly the main message here for everybody is to know that at this time, what's happening and the energy of what's happening is, or at the time that you're watching this too, you may be watching this later in time, the energy is change, transformation, metamorphosis. A metamorphosis is kind of magical. It's kind of a magical experience. If you think about it, it's kind of scary and kind of creepy and kind of cool all at the same time. This little caterpillar goes into a cocoon and falls asleep for a period of time, and then comes out and it's completely different and looks different, and they say that a butterfly never sees its own reflection. Like, it never gets to see itself. And that's interesting too. But anyways, the whole point here is that it's kind of like this magical thing, and some of you may not even realize that you're in this process. You're in this process of change. You've been in this process of change, and it might just hit you like all of a sudden that you've changed. Or it's not just you've changed. It's not that you've grown. Maybe your relationship's changed. Maybe you've outgrown a relationship. Some of you, you know, it's hard to tell a person that they've outgrown a relationship, because most likely if a person's outgrown a relationship and still in it, they're in a state of denial, or B, they don't want things to change, or C, they're staying for maybe not the right reasons, or they're staying for some sense of security or finances or something. So to me, this is like a time of releasing, and people have been talking about this, you know, about how essentially it's sort of like shedding the old skin, but that's this card, that's this message. It's what obviously the universe wanted me to talk about in this video. So for at least this portion of time, I do want to see what else it says here. To me, it's about old ideas. It says, butterflies earn their wings through great effort. The process of change is often painful, for it is never without losses and sacrifices. If you are to transform from one form to another, a part of you needs to die. Letting go isn't easy, especially when you're used to thinking a certain way about your life and how you live it. And this is the key. This is key. Some of us have had ideas about how our lives are going to go, or how we want to live our lives. And the transformative part, that Scorpio energy, is really understanding that like a lot of stuff could be going on in external stuff, but it's really like dealing with outmoded ideas about our future. So like an example of this would be an outmoded idea of how you want your life to go is you want to, I'm just gonna say some of this random, you want to have a sports car, and you want to have like a Fortune 500 company, and your goal in life is to sort of achieve that, and that's your idea. And so it's like you're and some of you may be trying to achieve that. Some of you may have already achieved that, but it's sort of just like, that's the way, your idea about how your life is going to go in your mind, in your head, your life is getting to that point where you achieve that sports car in that Fortune 500 company. But the reality is that it's an outmoded idea about how you see your life, because, and a lot of times our ideas about our lives are not helping us. They're not, helping us sort of understand our own reality, the actual reality. And someone said recently that I was very good at the reality check, and that I was kind of depressing in that way. And the funny thing is that I try to check myself as far as like, what's the reality of the situation? Okay, it's like a very direct way of looking at it. If I don't think it's going to work, it's not going to work, and that's it. But a lot of people cling, and I have done this myself, so I'm not saying that I haven't done it. A lot of people cling to ideas about their life. So that means they're A, not living in the present moment. B, they're living in some kind of fantasy. C, they're staying in something that's no longer good for them, or they're trying to achieve something at the risk of, like, I don't know, they're trying to achieve something at the risk of losing everything that they have, or basically they have to sacrifice so much in order to do it. And, or, not the risk, it's the person that has ideas about how they want to live their life. So what they lose is they lose out opportunities, and they lose out on friendships, and they lose out on relationships, because they're so focused on achieving what it is they think they want. And really, it's an outmoded idea. So some of you may think you want something. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a job, maybe it's, again, it's a way of living. And I feel like at this time, this is very, very strong. The Scorpio energy right now is very strong still. It's unfortunate, but that's just what we're dealing with. Okay, so to me, it's very much about figuring out, okay, what does your life really look like? And what ideas about your life are helping you, and what ideas about your life are not helping you. And sometimes it goes back to that childhood dream, the childhood dream of doing something. And some people, so some people also move forward. Some people move sideways. Definitely Cancer does that. Capricorn can sometimes move sideways a little bit too, because Capricorns get delayed. So it's like they get sidetracked. So, and some of you aren't really moving forward at all. You're kind of hemming and hawing. So I feel like as far as trajectory, I feel like everybody needs to get more on like a trajectory where their ideas are not limiting them, where their ideas or beliefs about their life are not holding them back from an opportunity or stopping them from exploring an opportunity. When it comes to relationships, it's about saying, okay, are we on this path together, or are we going down separate paths? And be realistic about it and say, okay, what's the reality check here? Is this working or is this not? And if it's not working, then you have to say, okay, well, if it's not working, then really what's happened is you've gone sideways. You're starting to go sideways. You're not moving forward. You're just going sideways. And when you go sideways, it's like you're going to rehash old shit. It's going to become toxic. Or you're going to be like, well, what the fuck have I done for the last 5 years? I've wasted so much time. And even single people, I'm not just talking about people in relationships, even single people can be in that place of moving sideways because they're either afraid to move forward or because they haven't matched up. See, this is the key here. They have not matched up their idea of what they want to see happen in their life with what's actually happening. That's the key, and that hasn't happened. Okay, so let me pull another card. Okay, so I actually really like this card. This is a card that it says heal the ouch. So I also feel like, you know, we were talking about metamorphosis and how there's pain that comes through loss and sacrifice and change that brings about, you know, some kind of element of something we have to give up. Sometimes it's that belief system. But I also feel like there's healing to be had here. So it's not just like you're going to have to give something up and then you're just going to be left. I feel like there is healing. I feel like the next relationship or the next job or the next person that comes into your life as a friend or something where it's like there's healing through that new experience, and or there's healing that's going to be taking place within you to be able to adjust and say, okay, I've healed from this past experience and now I'm ready to move forward. And that's part of the transformational process. It's like the change happens and then you heal. Sometimes it's like, you know, it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like a little bit of a painful process where it's like you're wounded and, you know, it takes time for that wound to heal. And the wound initially causes you pain, but you heal from it and you don't feel the pain anymore, you know, after you healed from it. So at first it might be painful, whatever it is that you've gone through, whatever loss that has happened, it might be painful at first, but then I feel like there's an opportunity for healing too. This is also healing touch. Some of you, it's like having a healing touch or needing physical touch or having someone be there for you, maybe as a shoulder to cry on. To me, this talks about friendships, but it also talks about family too. You know, to me, this is healing from a loss too. Some of you, there may have been a death in the family. There may have been a loss. There may be something that you are literally going through the grieving process from. And because we're in the gateway days here with November, it's very much possible that some of you, you know, there's been a death in the family, or to me, there's going to be a death in the family too. So for some of you, I never noticed this, but there's all these like lights around this and a little fairy too. Huh? Okay, so it's hard to see. I'm going to see if I can get it on camera. There's like a little fairy right there. And then there's like these lights, these lamps. They're like tall lamps that are around these critters. And I feel like my brain is like, there's so many different interpretations of that. Some of you, it's I feel like the light of somebody crossing over. It's like the light in the tunnel kind of thing. Some of you, to me, there's also, okay, so some of you, it's also like the word illumination is coming to me. So some of you, the light is kind of going on for you about some situation, and that's going to heal you also. I just feel like the light to me symbolizes the part of the healing project, the energy that's like part of the healing process. Some of you may benefit from like Reiki work or healing work. I do offer healing sessions for some of you who want to do like essentially energy work. I haven't put those on my website for a while, but essentially I can still do those. I'm still capable of doing those if somebody wanted to do them. To me, this could be also like a breakup, someone going through a breakup or a divorce or something where it's like you have to recover from it. And I feel like the message is really positive in the sense that you are going to recover from it. I also feel like there's an element of health here. Some of you, it's very much a time of paying attention to your health, paying attention to your body, healing internally from stuff, you know, emotionally from stuff. Some of you may not have been feeling well. It's interesting because I wasn't going to record this video actually, because I really have felt the last couple days very much overwhelmed physically, that I just wanted to, and emotionally, that I really just wanted to take time to focus on my body and focus on myself and kind of shut down a little bit and not be so like checked into what's going outside in the world around me. But I felt like the calling to do these messages, and so it's interesting. Some of you may feel that way. Some of you may feel like you just need to take time to rest and take time. And some of you may need to take time off of work, and some of you may just need to take time, like some personal time. It feels like some of you it's personal time. Now, I also feel like, to me, this is like, because the raccoon is scratching the, I think it's I don't know if it's a dog or whatever, coyote. To me, it's sort of like being healed by somebody else. So some of you, again, maybe needing to go to the doctor, or see, you know, a physician of some kind. Someone, you know, some of you may work in the medical field. I work around doctors, so it's like, you know, I resonate very much with this card, as far as, you know, talking to doctors. Some, again, you may work around doctors, but some of you may be going to see a doctor for some advice, or just being very focused on your medical care and your health at this time. I want to see what else is going on. I'm going to pull a few other cards, and then we're going to call it here. Yeah, I definitely feel like some of you are very, very drained, and at the same time, and I do feel like you doing some cord cutting is going to help you. Some of you are doing cord cutting. That's good. Some of you need to do some cord cutting. When I talk about cord cutting, it's energetic cords, psychic cords of attachment and things like that. Some of you, it's weird. It's like all the same stuff. It's all like the Three of Swords in reverse, with my other deck. Three of Swords in reverse to me is healing. It's getting over a breakup. It's getting over a divorce. It's getting over something that's caused pain. I definitely feel like for those of you who are in relationships, there's some serious, to me, it's either a breakup or divorce or something happening there. Some serious stuff going on there. And for a period of time, some of you may be very worried about money. Like, this may cause problems as far as how you're going to pay bills, and you're worried about money. And some of you, you know, you may kind of have like a dark cloud kind of hanging over your head as far as like, I don't know, just you not feeling very happy about things, or feeling like maybe moody. Some of you are not making it a fun time. Like you're working a lot, but you're not doing fun things. So some of you just need to really focus on having more fun. It's definitely a feeling of like, some of you, it's like you're working too much and it's taking a toll, and you need to take alone time. You need to take not a lot, but it's like you need to stop thinking for like several days about work. You need to like, in some way, kind of retrain your brain for a couple of days, where you're not thinking about work. For some of you, I feel like a lot of things are kind of stuck. I want to say that. I feel like things are kind of stuck. And there's several cards that are coming out here that talk about this, you know, kind of talk about this stuckness. One is the Ace of Swords in reverse. And the Ace of Swords in reverse to me is about not making a decision. You know, to me, it's like wanting to make the decision, but the decision hasn't been made, and it's like it's just kind of, things kind of are stalled. I always think this is like the sword and the stone that's kind of stuck, and it can't like the correct person has to come by in order to get this to be worthy of you in some way. So it's like some of you may be dealing with someone who's not really, maybe you're settling for someone, or maybe you're dealing with someone who's not really worthy of you or good enough for you, and you're settling. But then you also have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And to me, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is, again, wanting to know the future, wanting things to move forward, wanting to feel like things are moving forward. And yet, to me, it comes down to it just maybe not being time. There's like a clock inside that wheel. I see a clock there. So some of you, it has to do with timing for things to move forward. I do feel like there's timing elements, a lot of timing elements, especially if there's anyone who has someone in their family that's not well, or someone in their family that just may have just passed away. There's just like this time, to me, it's like a time of like grieving, or a time after something has happened. Some of you, if it's not a death in the family, to me, it's definitely relationship related, where there's been some kind of breakup or divorce. Though it depends on the timing of this also. When I say timing, it's correct here, because I am looking at these cards as far as time, and there is like, some of when you're watching this, it hasn't happened yet, and some of you, may already be in the healing process when you are watching. So it's just going to depend. Eventually, to me, you got my favorite card, which is the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups to me is completing karma. So if there's been some kind of relationship that's been very challenging for you, to me, it was, in my mind, to me, it looks like it's been a karmic relationship where maybe there were a lot of lessons to be learned from it, and moving on from it would really, I want to say, behoove you. Like if you're not, some of you, it really depends on the person, and again, it's hard to read for so many people, but like some of you, moving on is the best thing for you because it completes the karma. And it's hard for me to explain that like all in this video, but it's like sometimes getting out of a relationship, leaving a relationship, exercising your free will to do so is what needed to happen, is the karma, is the lesson in the lessons that follow it are what needed to happen. Staying in that relationship isn't necessarily what needed to happen. Now, there's other people that are learning lessons through relationships, and some people actually think that we all are, and sometimes I do think that we're all having a karmic experience. I feel like it really depends on each person. Some relationships to me are karmic and others are not as much. Like there's some people for me personally, I've learned a lot through, and I feel like those have been very hard lessons. Those are karmic lessons. And other people, like I meet for like a day and I learn nothing from. So it's not a karmic relationship. I don't see this as a karmic relationship as the same. It's not the same. But yeah, to me, there's a completion of karma. Some of you are completing karma, and there is some karmic lesson to be learned. Some of you are going to be learning about galactic heritage and or need to research galactic heritage. Some of you are star seeds, like you're a star seed, and so your soul is from a different place altogether. Okay, I'm losing battery here. And so there's that. I also feel like what comes after you've completed karma is actually almost harder as far as energy, because it's almost like, okay, you completed this karma, and then what? And then sort of like, and now what? And then after that, it's sort of like all this stuff comes to the surface. Maybe it's frustration, maybe it's mood swings, maybe it's, for some of you, it's not really changing paths, not wanting to change paths. So it's like you've learned all this, maybe you've learned all these lessons, but then at the same time, you've, there's some element of your situation that it's not that it hasn't changed. It's just that it may be very frustrating. You may be kind of stuck on the fence about stuff, not really knowing what to do, really how to move forward after that. It's sort of like, yeah, it's for me, it's like an aftermath, kind of the mess. Some of you may be a very messy divorce. I have to say that. To me, it's like a very messy divorce or a very difficult like legal situation where it's like, okay, well, you completed it, maybe you settled it, but then after that, you have to still figure out, okay, so who's picking up the kids and who's going to pay for this, and there's just a lot of, to me, there's like a lot of mess still and a lot of resentment there also. Some of you really need to move on from a situation. It's just the message is to really let go and let God and wave goodbye to the past. To me, this is very much about waving goodbye to the past and past relationships. Some of you, I do feel there's going to be some kind of new romance or like new feelings for someone. There's also like what needs to happen is there needs to be this kind of, you need to get kind of recharged and like have more get up and go. Some of you are very much like, I don't know if I don't necessarily want to say homebodies, but like people that are very like not making anything happen. And the wheel in reverse, going back to the wheel in reverse, is all about not taking the bull by the balls, okay? Not making anything happen, just kind of letting things happen. And sometimes, you know, especially for women, we get into this the mode of what I call receptivity, where it's like we're waiting for the universe to bring it to us. And that's not, for some of you, that's not what needs to happen. What needs to happen, especially if you're looking for romance, is to have some get up and go out on Friday night, go out on a Saturday night, go out and go where there's people, and put yourself out there as far as meeting people and be active. That's what I see. Yeah, to me, it's needing to start off in a new direction or path. That's ultimately what I'm seeing. Some of you are very tempted by a situation or by a person. I definitely see that. And, you know, some of you are doing things kind of regardless of consequences. So it's like consequences to cheating are going to be someone finding out. The consequences to, you know, I don't know. To me, there's a consequence to your actions in some way, but I feel like primarily it relates to relationships. So it's like, again, it's a whole cheating thing. But again, going back to this direction, I feel like people are going to be questioning where are they going? What direction do they want to head in? And I feel like there's been a lot of delays. I want to say delays with regards to people not knowing or not making a change to kind of help them switch directions. So I do want to leave off there. If you guys have, you know, questions, definitely reach out to me for a private reading. I'd love to get you set up. And yeah, there's just a lot. I feel like I covered so much in this reading. So hopefully you guys, it made sense to some of you, and you know, let me know what you guys think, definitely. And definitely give me a thumbs up because it really helps out my channel, you know, and I appreciate all your love and support. Thank you so much to specifically Jeff in the UK, as always, for being amazing and supportive of my channel. And, you know, thank you everybody else for liking, sharing, subscribing. So I send everyone big hugs, big kisses, and I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Okay. Bye.